Hello and welcome to the video. This is the latest update, some of the latest things up at 3DXR. Now I'm lucky I get to visit Ben and the team up there at 3DXR every other month to just go and have a look around and see what's new. Now 3DXR is really aimed at those pilots who are kind of professional prosumer grade, so it's your Pixhawks, it's your high-end frames and models and VTOL builds and things like that. However, a lot of the stuff that he gets in at 3DXR are things that I use too. So for example, in a moment he's going to show you some of the new servos and some of the high rated battery eliminator circuits that he has that I would use in the hobby here as well. But the main reason I go up there is that a lot of the technology that first of all starts to appear in the very expensive professional grade stuff eventually ripples down to the hobby and we get our hands on it. Things like CAN bus and Ethernet support for connecting peripherals inside a model are becoming more standard as it flows down gently from the high-end Pixhawk and QPilot Cube orange style flight controllers down to things like Maytech flight controllers that we might use for something like iNav or Betaflight. So over to Ben for some of the latest stuff they've got in stock.
Okay, so some new products here at 3DXR. We already stock quite a range of Emax servos in all different shapes and sizes, and what's just been released is these high voltage versions. So this example, this 3054, is a very popular model we stock, and it's now available in HV, so that allows the input of 6 to 8.4 volts. So there's a few advantages to using high voltage. First of all, you've got, as you sort of put your servos out in the wings and far away, you often see a sort of voltage drop. So it's good if you can use a higher voltage input to them. It also generally gives a higher sort of torque to that servo running on the higher voltage. So this example here is the 3054. This is what we use in our Make Fly Easy kits, such as the Believer, Fighter, Striver. So we generally go through sort of thousands of these a year, and it's one of our favourite servos. This model here, the 3005, I would call this a standard size servo. So the sort of bigger servo. Again, these are all metal geared and all digital servos. And here is an example of the smaller. This one weighs 12 grams, but you may sort of consider this a sort of 9 gram servo. So that is 3252 servo. And again, so these are HV, so high voltage servos, accepting an input range of 6 to 8.4 volts. Okay, so much awaited. One problem people have is the Oris Designs radio. So these are very popular long-range telemetry radio. They've been out for years, and this is a later model, the X version, and it's the EU version. So mounting it in the aircraft might be easy, but what to do with it on the ground? So we've had a few solutions in the past with sort of intermittent supply, but now the manufacturer has produced this very nice, simple injection molded case that makes containing the ground end very simple. So it does just sort of fit in nicely, and it does screw together a few screws to hold it together. It leaves your FTDI cable sort of just coming out the bottom. Screw your antennas on it, and there's also some mounting screws to affix this to something. You could also use this inside the vehicle as well if the weight wasn't an issue. So that's the Oris Designs own manufactured case, and these are live and in stock now. One of our first products, so we're going to show you through some of our latest Hobbywing. So this is a Hobbywing arm set, so that is a motor and a speed controller in one. In this case, it's the H6M. So this is an arm set that could be used on VTOLs and multi-rotors. It's a 12S arm set, so quite a low kV on here. We've seen 130 kV, and this would turn the sort of 22-inch propellers. What's nice about this is it features their latest ESCs, which are CAN capable or PWM. So CAN offers some advantages over PWM in the integrity of the signal over distance, but also for these later generation ESCs, it also offers telemetry sort of feedback. It offers information about the motor, such as RPM and current draw, and that can be used in the latest Autopilot firmware to aid notch tuning and notch filtering. So this is one of their sort of latest arm sets. So there is a H8 as well. Hobbywing have been making arm sets for quite some time, generally the sort of bigger agricultural arm sets used on the spray drone market, but this is their sort of newly released versions for multi-rotor, and this would also work quite nicely on a VTOL, this particular configuration. This is an example of one of the propellers that would be used for this arm set. So this is the 2278, so it's a 22-inch propeller with a 7.8-inch pitch. Very nice, super lightweight propeller, really nice finish, and also quite a high pitch compared to others. So this is their new series of Hobbywing propellers. We currently have the 22-inch. Again, these could be used with different brands and of motor. Just check the hole spacing matches with what you want to use it for. We also have, for their larger arm set, there is the equivalent propeller, but in a 30-inch. Staying with Hobbywing, we also have some new products and some favourite old products. So Hobbywing makes a nice selection of ESCs and also BECs. So this is an example of a sort of long-standing ESC, so 130 amp. These ESCs are used in helicopters and airplanes. And what we also have here is a couple of their new ESCs. So what we've just seen in the arm set here, this would be the ESC as a standalone. So they're H60 BLDC version. So these are up to 14S input. And again, these have CAN communication. So these sort of new generation of ESCs that allow you to sort of do more with them and get that feedback. This one I think is a little bit unique. Has lots more wires than normal, and that's because it is two ESCs in one. So what I've done here, that H60 ESC, is two of them have been encased like this, so allowing an overall smaller product. Now, the benefit for this that I see, or the user case I would use, would be, for example, in the wing of a VTOL. So having, you may already mount two ESCs in a wing, and what you'll find here is that this gives you, takes up a little bit smaller footprint, and will make some of the wiring easier in terms of input. So overall, I would see a benefit to using this based on that sort of size and volume reduction. Whenever I mount an ESC in the wing, I might have some of it protruding through the lower side of the wing anyway for ventilation. So this would allow you to do that with a single unit. And we'll just show you a couple of the other ESCs. So the updated 150 amp, and we also have this new beast here, this 260 amp, when 200 isn't good enough. So again, high quality ESCs, very nice products. This is the version with the built-in BEC, so this has a sort of 10 amp built-in BEC. So again, large fixed wings or helicopters these can be used on. What Hobbywing also do is they've got quite a nice range of BECs, and this one is it is a new model because it's the high input voltage version. So a 10 amp BEC, so very good for powering lots of servos. But this will take an input from between 3 and all the way up to 14S. So it's and very cost effective for that. Quite normal that anything towards a sort of 10, 12S suddenly becomes a lot expensive. All the components have to be rated much higher. So this is a nice cost effective option from Hobbywing. It'll take 14S input. It does have an adjustable output of 6, 7.4 or 8.4 volts. So again, this is something you could use to power high voltage servo like what we've just seen, and these are sort of new product in stock now. Next we'll move on to Hollybro. So some sort of new products from Hollybro. We've got the Mosaic H GPS system. So the Mosaic is a product from Septentrio. Hollybro already have some products for using GPS for yaw, or you might call it sort of moving baseline for yaw, and that's a feature when you have two antennas or two GPS. And because they're sort of correcting each other, they know exactly where they are, and that's sufficient to give you a heading, a bearing. What's different about this one, this is, I guess, considered kind of a sort of premium GPS for this purpose. So it's L1, L2, and also E5 band. And it runs probably a few more algorithms in terms of getting rid of some interference. They'll boast some sort of anti-jamming capabilities, but it's just considered to be a sort of premium version of this that you would use two antennas for heading. So you get everything you need in the kit with this, but we've also got from Hollybro as well this mounting solution, and this is a really neat solution to allow you to get that needed separation for your antennas. So if you were using a smaller, more compact multi-rotor frame, this allows you to extend those antennas out to the side. One more product from Hollybro, and also a little bit of information for people to see. So this one's labelled a PM06D, so it's got a D on the end for digital. What Hollybro have done is they've got their range of PDBs or power modules, and they're available in a digital version. So it's all that means is it's how it transmits the voltage and current information to the flight controller. So traditionally, you might plug into a power 1 output, for example, on a cube, and that reads analog voltage and current. What I've done now is you've got this in a digital version, which could be connected to the I2C port, or for some of their later products, their power port has been reconfigured to take a digital input. So the reason why we're doing this is some people get a little bit confused as to which one to buy. Now, the digital one can kind of be used with anyone, but you must wire it correctly. Whereas some of the later Hollybro flight controllers, they must be used with a digital one because they've redone their power port to accept the digital input. So this example is the PMO6D, which is a sort of small PDB, good for little quads. They do have a range of other sensors like the PMO2D, which is the inline one, and they have their larger PMO7 and the new PMO8. So it's something to sort of be aware that these new products exist, but also to make sure you use the correct one with the products you have, or at least know how to wire it if needs be. Also today, what we have is we've took on a range of products from Airbot. So previously we sold the mini carrier board from Airbot, and what we've now got is their latest range of sort of pro PDBs, so a power distribution board that has the Hall sensor built in. So this one here is available with the 100 or the 200 amp sensor, this one being the 200, so it's a high quality PDB with various motor mounting points and also adjustable voltage regulator. This one also has the power modules to power power 1 and also a redundant power supply to your flight controller, such as the cube. And this would be used in conjunction with this mini carrier board, which mounts above it, and then the cube on top of that one. You could use this with other flight systems, just use it as a PDB. And we get the necessary wiring here to connect it up to flight controller or to make your own connections there.
Thank you for watching my video. Check out the playlist, and adding Pedantry 360 to your search terms will help you find my content. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. You can support the time I spend here answering questions and helping others by using the links in the video description.